It's Monday of week 3 and I'm back in the house. I think I might have Will on Thursday, and then Friday I'm doing day drinking. So it's really important. Actually, Friday I'm going to go and see my accountant and then I'm going to go day drinking. So it's important next couple of days I just knuckle down and smash things out. So less chat, more smashing things out. So I started smashing things out in the attic. I had only done half the joints the previous week, so I got some more filler and some scrim tape, and I finished off all of the attic walls. Now, I was told I didn't need to do this by everybody, including the plasterer who is coming to skim this, but I still wanted to finish it off and do a nice job, make sure it was sealed and less rough. On the lower floors I've got a new technique which is much quicker, but once this was done, it was done. Right, so that's all done now. Every join has got some mesh and some filler. I didn't need to do this. I mean, the plasterer would have done it, but I wanted to make it smooth, non-rough, and I wanted to understand the process. I'll bring an orbital sander here next time I'm here, either Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll just go over it because some of it just needs smoothing off, etc. I'm a little bit confused about how to progress these cupboard edges and things, so I've asked Leon for some advice, and so now I'm going to move down to the first floor and crack on with that, and I'll video that shortly. I'm really pleased this room's all sealed and nice. There's not much more for me to do in here apart from these cupboard edges, and then it's just going to wait for the sparky, the plumber, and the roof to be fixed before we finish it off. But it's a nice square room now. The floor is flat. The spotlight holes are ready. It's insulated. If I close this window, it's quite quiet in here. It's quite still. It's got some substance about it. It's a nice little room. And bearing in mind, it's still got 2 gaping holes here. So it's not even VAC 3, there's one over there as well. So, you know, it's not actually completely buttoned up yet. It's just a lot more buttoned up than it was. So I'm going to start in this room. This is the master bedroom, as Will calls it. I guess it is the biggest bedroom. I'm going to start by insulating this wall before moving on to the other rooms. The reason for that is just about space. So I've got all the materials here that Rent Boy Will has cut up for me nicely. It's all here now. None of it's in the lounge anymore, which is good because, you know, having things in one place is good for organising the house and my brain. So sit rep, a couple of hours to go in the day. I've managed to insulate this entire room. I've brought out all the plug sockets. I've pulled the radiator pipes away from the wall. Luckily they just slid back. There's clearly a bit of slack as they go under the wall, which is nice. And I've pulled that socket out. I lost a small screw from inside the old mechanism, so I've just put a new socket face on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around and I'm going to use a little bit of insulation foam where there is big gaps up there, just because the room's not completely square. Same reason in that corner there, maybe at the top there, and because I had to get a bit creative at the end to save using too much PIR, a little gap there. And then I'm going to go around and I'm going to put the silver kind of thermal tape over all the joins. And then this will be ready for a vapour layer. So I've just got to decide at that point, do I carry on going down there or do I just get one room done at a time? It's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. The reason it's Wednesday is I forgot to bring the camera yesterday. Didn't do many hours, wasn't really feeling it yesterday. I'm really feeling it today. But anyway, got all of this insulated all the way through to here. Nice little session. And today we're going to add some insulation foam to the little gaps where I didn't quite measure right. And then we're going to vapour layer this room. We're also going to do all the insulation foam in here. Anyway, I'm going to get on with today. Sorry I forgot to bring the camera yesterday. I wasn't in a very good mood. I didn't feel very well. And at 2 o'clock I went to the pub and I had 2 pints of Guinness and a chicken biryani and I felt much better. I've also placed all my bets for this Friday at Cheltenham. I'm going to have Friday off and I'm going to go day drinking at a neighbour's house and do lots of betting. So I've got something nice to look forward to. So I've got 2 more days here, one on my own, one with Rent by Will, to get as much done as possible. I am starting to see the end of this journey. Lots of work to do, but the plan has evolved in my head. Peace. So I was planning on finishing the vapour, which I have done in all the rooms, and then going upstairs and doing fiddly stuff. But I've really enjoyed working in these 2 rooms, so I'm going to scrap the fiddly stuff until tomorrow. I'll eat that frog tomorrow, which is not the point. Anyway, I've got this new nail gun thing. I don't think it's perfect. The maximum nail you can, screw. I've got this screw gun. The maximum screw length I can put in said screw gun is 55 mils, which is fine if you're just boarding 2 batterns, but if you've got any sort of insulation in between, like I have, these are a little bit on the short side. But what I would say is I'm only doing 25 mil PIR down here, so 25 plus 12.5 mil board is 37.5. So with 55 I'm still getting 17-ish mils of penetration, and so it's just about long enough. And what it's good for is I can hold the board on the wall with like my tummy and my elbow, and I can just pump it to secure it. I don't have to have another pair of hands here so that I have to then go and get a screw and hold it in, etc. So it's an absolute game changer. I made a short video about it because I'm so excited. I'm getting better at it. I bought a new drive piece for it because the one that came with it was just going dig 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 on every screw. I've got boxes and boxes of the Tim & Co screws, so I'm committed to using it. Or I'm selling Tim & Co screws. And I'm just going to crack on today instead with boarding, because I've got a real work erection and metaphor, and I want to see I want to use these moments of energy to smash stuff out. So it's the end of Wednesday and I've gone really well today. I have vapoured all of this room, the hallway and the second bedroom, and I've also boarded all of the second bedroom, and I've started boarding the main bedroom. It's been a good day. There are a couple of plaster boards with a bit of a gap between them. One particular because I managed to cut my thumb quite badly at the top, using a Stanley knife to cut the little scraggy bits off the edge of a cut board. And I ran to my van bleeding profusely. But within the first aid kit, I had added butterfly strips, knowing that this is the sort of thing that will happen. Managed to tape it up and put it in one of these, put a plaster over it, clean it with some cleany stuff, and then put what looks like a very rudimentary condom over it. It hurts, it throbs, but we've got to carry on. We've got to get this house finished. I must wear gloves though when I'm using a Stanley knife. I tend to take them off because my hand's hot and sweating, so I've got to find the right glove which is both ventilated and gives me a degree of protection. Anyway, so good day today. The only things left to do in these rooms is plumbing, electrics, and then skim. Plumbing is going to happen sometime in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to buy some radiators this week and leave them here ready for Mr. Plummy Max. And then obviously we won't do any plastering or skimming until we've had the roof fixed. But so yeah, tomorrow there's absolutely realistic to expect me to finish all of the boarding in these two rooms, because what's left is less than I've done today substantially, and it's much quicker because of the size and the shape of the room. I've got very quick at taking the plugs off, taking the sockets off, putting the boards in. And what I have noticed though is that I need to up my charging game. When the power goes off, my batteries don't charge because the power's off. So I need to get one of those multi-chargers from the eBay so that I can charge multiple batteries at a time and therefore be less likely to run out of batteries. I never thought I would outwork my batteries, but I am now outworking them. I'm using the drill driver. I'm using the new screw gun, which is amazeballs. I'm using the cutting tool. Like, swapping batteries between those is a pain in the arse. So having three, oh, and I've got one in the radio. I do have a plug for the radio. Interestingly, the radio truncates the name of the station. And so I found a station earlier that I thought was perfect, but apparently it's absolute country. I thought they'd named a radio off station after me for a second. Anyway, so I can use a plug for the radio, but you know, power's going to be off. It's nice to have the ability to power it with a battery, so I can dance as I work. So Will's back tomorrow. I'm going to get Will sorting the rubbish out, gutting the kitchen floor, and then I'm going to get him starting to work in this space here. This surface has got to come off so we can skim it. I'm going to get all this wood cleaned up. You know, we're on the build up now. You know, we've done all of the stripping and we're now making it better again. Sparks will be in next Thursday to do all the plug sockets and LEDs and things in the attic. Yeah, so it's all good. So it's Thursday, we're back in the house. It's the last day of the week because tomorrow we're just doing drinking. Rent by Will's here. Say hello, Rent by Will.
Hello everyone.
Hello all 120 of you. So before I get going on the walls, I'm just going to sneak downstairs so you can see Will working on the kitchen floor. When he's finished that, he'll be taking the poo off this banister. making a right mess of this. Firstly, I keep forgetting that the plasterboard panels need to end on a button, unlike the PIR, which doesn't need to. So I've had to do some jiggery pokery. And then secondly, I just keep measuring wrong. I just measured this length and it was 175.5 centimetres. I even wrote it on the wall. And then I cut it at 170. I just, this brain. I've ordered some food, got to try and crack on. Got to push through it. Got to work hard because nobody cares. Today's been hard work because I keep making mistakes, but this keeps happening to me. That's a screw I used to stick the vapour layer to the PIR, and I just didn't screw them in enough. So they all come through the plasterboard when I attach the plasterboard to the button. I'm learning so much and it's so enjoyable to learn it. So it's been a good week, only 4 days this week, in fact 3.5 if I'm honest. All of the exterior walls are now battened, insulated, vapour layered and plasterboarded. I am not going to do scrimming today because I've only got about an hour left. A couple of things I'm thinking about, just pondering in the last hour. And then I'm going to tidy up and head off for my drinking day tomorrow. So we're getting into the more interesting stuff now. I think the last few videos have just been plasterboarding and battening and stuff, so we're starting to pick up some actual structural challenges now. We've also got Will out here that's sorting out the hallway, taking all the poo off the banister and taking the chipboard wallpaper off this wall. And it looks like the wall behind there is pretty solid. The mortar isn't crumbling too much, so we can just PVA that and skim it when we come to plaster time. I've had a roofer come and have a look at the roof to try and get me a better price for the roof, and then that will really kickstart the whole thing, because at that point the house will be dry, and he's talking about putting some extra dryness protection down the gable end of the house, and he's talking about using tiles which are cheap but long lasting, so he's talking my language. But anyway, yeah, great week number 3. Second official week of garden leave, third official week full time on the job. The house is insulated, the bathroom's ordered. I've got to get some radiators, but we're really moving on at a pace. And I think when we start constructing things like eave cupboards and stuff, it's going to really look like we're making the property good again. So back next week, probably on my own all week. I'm just doing short days because Mrs. Flipping Idiot is away. I've got to get back for the school bus every day, but I'll be putting in sort of 4 or 5 hours a day, 5 days next week, so I can get down to some of this fiddly stuff, all the windowsills and all these cupboards and stuff like that, etc. So should be more technical next week rather than bulk work, which will be a bit more interesting to watch. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, that was fun to make, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and press the bell icon, which isn't as rude as it sounds, so that you get to find out when we've uploaded a new video as soon as it's done. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend.